But 4 dogs at one time, I was too much for
Well,
her.
even if they get to know her, they're still going to bark at her from the other side of the fence.
Well, at some
This
point,
is what dogs do.
Well, when that happens and she can get big enough that she knows what to do, old enough to know what to do, then yeah, I'm going to let her go. Figure it out. 4 dogs. Have fun.
So it's in between, and I got you guys talking about dog talk just for a few minutes.
Oh, did you really get
It was good enough. I thought, screw it. Let's just jump in on that. You guys had something you wanted to start off with for the in-between.
George Perez.
Yeah, so George Perez, an amazing artist and writer who contributed so much to comics, the New Teen Titans, Wonder Woman, mostly DC Comics. He did Avengers as well.
Justice
Yeah,
League.
exactly. He did a book, 20 years ago, I think?
Yeah.
JLA Avengers. It was a crossover between Marvel and DC, one of the last of the ones they did together.
Yeah.
The publishing, once that book was published as a graphic novel and a hardcover, the publishers have not brought it back together.
Yeah, they've not been friendly.
Who knows why the houses are not friendly enough to produce their content they've done in the past. I would have loved to have seen some of those old giant tabloid-sized team-ups come back where they had
Spider-Man versus Superman.
and Batman and Hulk and all sorts of
Wonder
stuff like
Woman,
that.
yeah.
But anyway, unfortunately, Perez discovered back in November of 2021, towards the end of it, that he had stage 3 or stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And his doctors, there's nothing they can do
no
at this
cure
point.
for it, so he just
They gave him that standard 6 months to a year to live. So the Hero Initiative was able to work with the publishers and get reprinted the JLA Avengers specifically to benefit him and his family. And they didn't announce the project until 5 weeks before
it was going to come out.
It was going to come out, which tells me a couple of things. They had to pre-print this book, and for whatever reason, they only pre-printed 7,000 copies. Everything going with paper right now.
That's for the entire world.
Normally, if you order a graffic novel and the publishers are basing orders, you're looking at like 2 to 3 months out before they can get it printed. So they had to pre-print this. I haven't read anything about this, but what I've heard kind of through people talking to me is that they wanted to get it out there faster so that he actually had money now while he was still alive to be able to take care of expenses
Rather print it now
Correct.
than wait, and nothing happens.
I'm hopeful that if there are people that did not get in on this first printing of it, that they're planning
Maybe they will do
on doing a second
third
printing
or fourth,
that can either benefit him if he's still alive or go towards his family for costs and funeral expenses. I mean, that's kind of a sad way to say it, but I think that's if they do a second printing and they're allowed to by the publishers, that's probably what it would go for. So anyway,
it's going to be very allocated for stores, obviously.
It was heavily allocated for stores. When they announced it 5 weeks ago, I immediately had people started emailing me and calling me, asking me if we were going to get copies of it. Now, normally I like to put stuff up on pre-order, but I knew because of the limited nature of this, I didn't know what I was going to get. I had no idea. So when it came up to order, I took a risk and I ordered 100 copies of it.
And the first thing I emailed Richard was saying, I've already got the hardcover actually signed by George Perez. Take me off the list. Don't have to worry about me. Take me off your one or whatever.
But I didn't advertise that I was starting a list. I didn't put it in the email. I didn't put it on a pull list. I didn't put it on a pre-order because I didn't know what I was going to get. Even trying to order 100 copies, I was hoping just to manage to cover the people that actually reached out and said, hey, I want this, my regular loyal customers. So I started this list. It had probably like 25-ish names on it. Well, I got the box in this week of JLA Avengers. I got 6.
Wow, that's more than I would think.
Of 100? I got 6 of 100.
That's what I thought.
No. I was thinking 6 of 7,000 around the country. I would think you would have gotten 2 or 3.
Well, I mean, but it's based upon orders. So I order 100 copies. The store down the street orders 50 copies. The allocation should technically be a percentage of what everybody orders. Right. I mean, Midtown orders all 7,000 copies. They should get a higher percentage because they want to pay for it. And that's the deal. That's the gamble. I ordered 100 copies. I should be able to pay for 100 copies if they give me that 100 copies. So every store is still not ordering unlimited. They're ordering what they know that they could afford.
Yeah.
But I only got 6 copies, which means I had to go down that list
and
first come, first serve, and tell people below that list that they didn't get it. And that was kind of hard to do. But again, I'm telling people, I think they'll do a second printing. I think they'll come back. They'll do a little bit more. It'll still benefit him and his family. This is just something they had to have a fast turnaround time. And yeah, I just got 6 of my 100 copies, and I'm sure I assume people that are listening to this also into comic books and the media and are at least familiar with George Perez and his history there. And I don't know if you guys were able to get a copy of JLA Avengers, but good luck to you. And I feel confident we'll get a second printing at some point.
So one of the distressing things, and I don't know anything about this person, but listening to Sean talk, are people auctioning it off, and you assume that they're taking the profits off of that and not funneling the money back to this man who this is created to help him out.
There are people that have pre-ordered it, already assume they're getting it, put it on eBay, said, all right, this $30 comic book I'm just going to sell for $300, $400, $500. And obviously that money is coming back to them, not going to him.
There are some places that, some stores that decided to take their copies. And it was one of those things where it was kind of all happened so quickly that I didn't really fully follow through with all this.
Saving one copy and
auctioning off their copies to specifically go back to him.
Oh, really?
And selling that auction money.
And that was a great idea. But to this point, I'd kind of already committed to the
people that,
it was kind of hard for me to go back and do that. But I think that's a really smart idea.
It is. I mean, you like knowing that there are some decent people in the world amongst those that look at a situation like this and couldn't give a shit. They just want to benefit for themselves.
They just want to make a profit off of it.
The copy that I have signed, I think was from 10, 15 years ago when they put the hard copy out. And it was already when he was losing his eyesight and he was just signing stuff. Like he wasn't doing drawings anymore. So, yeah.
That's the hard part about right now with the industry and comics, or I'm sure any collectible industry. It's like you want the excitement of collectability. You want the excitement of having something unique to yourself. But I also don't enjoy the price gouging aspect of it, or the opportunist aspect of it, of people taking advantage of people that just want something unique for themselves. But I don't disagree with things increasing in value either,
because of their rarity.
There's a balance between those, and sometimes it gets out of hand.
With an artificial rarity, that's a problem. It's like, all right, I'm going to make 100 Batman figures, but 2 Robin figures. All right, that's an artificial scarcity.
Correct.
Scarcity that you made. You could make 100 Robin figures and 100 Batman figures, and everybody gets the 100 that they want. Yeah.
I look at collecting because I want, not because I want to take from others. I don't, and I've had, I don't think, Richard, that when you saw my collection in my room, that I used to have almost every Star Wars action figure they made for years and years and years. And I finally got sick of it. I was like, I don't care. And I went into a toy shop and it was somewhere we're here in Dallas. I don't remember where I went, but the guy said, I can't give you what you want. And I said, I don't really care what you give me. I don't want them. I want somebody that wants them to enjoy them. And I didn't make a lot of money on it. It was one of those that I thought, I want someone to enjoy it. And I get wanting to make money on it. You own something, and if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you only paid $500, I'll pay you $5,000, that's part of it. But I don't walk out seeking that. Anything I would sell, I've told Abby when I'm gone, I'm like, sell all this stuff, keep what you want, make money. But
I've told JJ, if something happens to me, you boys need to come in here first, look at my library. Just make sure to look in the first couple of pages, because it might be signed or it might have a sketch, just to make sure.
Sure.
Instead of you're giving away a $5 book that could be a $5,000 book.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've never looked at collecting through those eyes. It's like right now, I want so badly there are these people that are 3D printing weapons from Star Wars, and they're very talented people who then paint it to make it look very real.
Yeah.
I want that because I always wanted to hold a Stormtrooper rifle, and it's 3D printed off of the actual thing, and that's exciting to me. It's fake; it doesn't mean shit to anybody, but that's exciting to me. And I guess I just don't understand that other side of collecting.
You fucking space Nazi want to hold a Stormtrooper rifle.
I do.
You don't want to hold a goddamn lightsaber.
I own a lightsaber already.
One of my customers.
I know you hold.
Kind of got into that for a little bit, nerd. And he really is enamored with Captain Rex, and so he did the same thing that you're talking about with the gun. But he was working with people to kind of recreate the costume for Captain Rex,
really?
His dimensions and sizes in terms of the helmet. So he's got a full on Captain Rex that he's basically pieced together from molds that people have made, but he has no reason to wear it, so he now does small charity events here and there as Captain Rex.
That's cool.
It's a fun idea. Yeah.
I told Shelly. Shelly, of course, did not like the idea that I said I was going to get a 3D printed version. She's like, you need to buy one of the official prop replicas, because to Sean's point about get a lightsaber, and he knows I have it. Shelly actually bought me one of those master replicas of Luke's lightsaber. And it is beautiful. I mean, it's the actual same flash rod and everything they use. the Stormtrooper rifles now, if you go look for them, those master, they're like $3,000, and I'm not paying $3,000 when I could get the same thing for $300. You know, I had to explain to her again. I want little 10-year-old Todd to finally hold something that feels right in his hands, and I'm probably going to stay in my room for
pee pee.
Yeah, taking the lightsaber, you know, framing it, putting it on a wall, putting a light behind it. That looks pretty impressive in a fun, in you know, your office, your game room, whatever you're doing.
Right.
But having that to be able to walk around with and pass over to me and Sean and be like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is neat. I wouldn't do that with a master replica per se.
So is it 2022 or 2023 that you're going to do the Galactic Cruise?
So it's funny you talked about that, because we're trying right now. It's bonus time for Todd, and every year that's how do we go on a vacation. Mm-hmm. Abby wants to go to Seattle because she's a huge Kurt Cobain fan. She wants to see all that kind of stuff, and I've never been to Seattle, and I want to see Seattle.
She knows she's not going to see Kurt Cobain, right?
So
that's
hang on, that's dark, and I'm going to bring back to that story. Shit. Oh, but then we started talking about what are we going to do for vacation, and that's when Shelly said, and Enright actually asked me, to like, are we going to go to the Galactic Cruiser together? And I said, Shelly will never stay at that damn thing.
That's in Florida, right?
Yeah, it is in Florida. But I told him, I said, we go to Disney, and when you go with Shelly, you go for the experience. You're staying in a fucking Disney hotel. I don't care how much you have to leverage the house. But when I said the Galactic Cruiser, all I got was this. Just eyes on me, and I thought, oh, okay, well, so we're not ever doing the Galactic Cruiser now. About the Seattle thing, yes, she knows, and I told Sean this. So, Richard, I just took Abby to see the Batman, and you know how they used Nirvana in there twice, and she loves Nirvana. That's her favorite band of all time because she ended up in a forensic class having to do a research paper on his suicide,
on the Riddler,
and on Kurt Cobain's suicide. And as she did it, she came into me, and she knows how much I love music. And she's like, what do you think of Kurt Cobain? I said, never spoke to me. Wasn't my thing, but I said, brilliant. A brilliant songwriter. You know, if you ever look at what he did, he would almost take like nursery rhyme melodies to heartbreaking lyrics. So we're in the Batman, right? And at the end, you know, they play the something in the way again. And then he has that speech about we're all alone. That poor little girl who adores Kurt Cobain starts crying in the movie theater because of it. And these people walk by her, and she's like, and I said, it's okay. You cry. Fuck them. Who cares if they look at you like, why are you crying over Batman? I know why you're crying. But she walked out of it, and she said, that's the best Batman movie I've ever seen.
Did you tell her Arse face in The Preacher is about a guy trying to kill himself because of Kurt Cobain?
No, I did not give that.
All
right. What else?
I'm just sitting over here watching my baby sleeping and dreaming and running while she's asleep.
She's being a good girl in the sun.
She's being a good girl, good Gertie.
Mm-hmm. I always love it when your dog's just kind of like
be human.
When they whimper or bark or wag their. The other day I caught Gilly wagging her tail while she was sleeping. She was dreaming, her tail was just flopping. I'm like, what is she thinking about right now?
I know.
What dream world is she in right now that she's just wagging her tail?
Gertie's running.
Right?
With her front paws. So
Lucy's is always like a little, and it's just this little whiny bark. And I think the same thing. I'm like, you don't ever bark like that. What emotion are you having right now that you need?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, for us, typically when we have those kind of things, it's usually like some type of night terror or tremor that's happening. So it's usually a nightmare. So I don't know if the barking, you know, we always think it's something like normal, but it could be a panic.
It could.
Could be, you know, I'm on the other side of the fence.
No, she's chasing my goddamn feet. I know this.
Jake never makes a sound. He just farts while he sleeps, and it is ungodly.
No.
It blisters the hair off your body. It's like, oh, God.
Oh, she's not here. That's what JJ does. She blows one out when she's asleep.
Hi,
JJ.
Really,
we love you.
I really hope she doesn't hear this podcast.
Thank God she never listens
to this. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
So that never listening, that brings in that we've teased that one of the things, and by the time you're hearing this, you have already heard what I'm going to refer. Yeah. We're going to finally do the spouses joining us for an episode. We will not mention JJ.
You shut your whore mouths.
Sean will look at me like, you fucking piece of shit. I never said that.
I don't know what you're talking about. What podcast?
But the funny thing is, I think Shelly listened to one early episode that Sean and I did before you joined us. and she couldn't care less after that. Has Chris ever listened to any of it?
I don't think so. He might. I mean, I have no idea.
But Chris is probably, of the three spouses, the closer to the
one
idea that
might listen to it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he programs all day long, so I have no idea what he listens to his headphones. I know it's music a lot, but he might be listening to podcasts as well. Since he's an author, a published author, twice, actually 3 times. He just
3 times.
Yeah, he just got published in a new
With his
horror
short
anthology.
stories,
Awesome.
Short story. It was basically about underwater or at sea horror.
Nice.
And his premise of his short story is, you know how they do those, like in Austin, they do the Let's Watch Jaws.
On the water.
And they have divers that come after your little toes that will kind of pick at you while you're watching Jaws. He basically wrote a short horror story around that idea.
Nice.
That you're on a resort, you're watching Jaws at a resort, and all of a sudden everything's gone.
Everything floats.
I like it.
Yeah.
Everything floats.
There you go.
So we're about 16 minutes in. I'd asked the guys if I could do this. Hope you don't mind if I do this now that my band got done in the studio recently, and to promote it, I'm going to play one of the songs here. This was the lead song. This is written by a former member of ours named John Slayton. We released we released them as singles. This is the weird thing in music now. You don't release an album up front. You release singles and then gather them together in an album. This is the first one. It's down the road. I'm just going to let it play. I'm going to turn our mic down so we can talk while it records in this. But hey, if you like it, we are out there everywhere on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us Spotify, all the different places. We're an Americana band. One of these days, I got to get you guys to come out. We're playing King's X on Forest Lane in a few weeks. You know, it's actually in Dallas, and Sean always tells me if you play in Dallas, and then his lazy ass stays home. So, all right,
I meant like right down the street from me, Dallas.
Jesus Christ, you're an old man. When did you become this old?
When I have a dog who eats hands and feet and pisses in the bed.
Well, here it comes. I'm going to bring our mics down so we can talk while it records in the episode. This is Down the Road.
I packed my bags up when I found that you were running around all over town. I guess you were not satisfied with one girl. I packed my bags up. I packed my bags up. I know the brain of yours works slow. One day you'll realize what you lost. I'll be long gone and you'll know that I moved on down the road.
You called the cops on me when I showed up drunk one night. You had no patience for my shit. Let's talk it over. I slurred and you just laughed. You called the cops on me. You called the cops on me. You know that brain of mine works slow. One day I realize what I've lost. But you'll be long gone and I'll know that you moved on down the
Alibis and other lies be
You
dead.
know the brain of mine works slow.
There's something you must understand.
Today I realize what I've lost.
You always played me for the fool, and I moved on down the road.
now I feel like a DJ completely spinning out a song and.
Hey,
wondering-
everybody, we're back
Oh,
from
it started another. It's what the
We're
one thing I
doing
hate about
another
the stupid thing.
one of the greatest hits from Sour Pickle Beer by Best Made.
The name of our record label is called The Cops,
The Cops.
and that's because
You gonna call the cops?
well,
the
that's
Cops.
because in that song, so John, who was in this band forever, and then moved to North Carolina, and is easily one of the most scarily talented musicians I've ever met in my life. He just picks up any instrument and plays it. He's this kind of very quiet guy, and he comes in and writes this song, and at first it sounds like a very woman-oriented, I'm trying to think of her lyrics at the top of it. That she heard I was running around over town, that I wasn't just satisfied with one girl. Well, then it gets to my part when I sing it, and it's, well, you called the cops on me when I showed up drunk one night. You had no patience for my shit. And then I scream out a stop of, you called the cops on me. It is the weirdest thing that now when we go places, people that know our music walk up, are you going to call the cops tonight? And I'm like, okay, so that's Called the Cops Records. Why not use that? And it's cute and it works, but
I would just call that the Shelly Hart song. Oh, God damn it, no.
no, the funny thing is with Shelly, when it comes to our music, because John wrote this one and I wrote the other three. There's one called Sweet Insecurity that I wrote that is, there's a history of murder ballads. People, you love somebody so much that in the end you end up killing them. I know it's awful, and I thought, I want to write that. And Shelly won't let me play it in the house because she's like, it gets in my
I
fucking
won't
head.
let
and
you
won't
write
stop.
a murder ballad so that you can kill me, my husband.
No, that's where you also have to understand Shelly. Shelly's obsessed with true crime.
Killing me, my
what-
husband.
She's like doing research to kill me eventually. So
They're going to look at those Google searches.
Yeah,
That's one of the
100%.
things they do. Well, they're Google searches.
What
That-
Shelly's aunt-in-law is a federal prosecutor and has pulled me aside jokingly and said, "Don't worry, if anything ever happens, I know I'm looking at Shelly first." I'm like, "Yes, you are."
My dad used to joke because my mom always read true crime novels, and he said, I don't have a problem when she reads it. It's when she starts highlighting passages. That's
Yeah.
when I have a problem.
We all joke like that. Shelly, if she's going to kill me, she's going to make a spectacle of it.
And
If she
Abby,
hasn't killed me by now, she's not going to do it.
Abby will be her supporter. She will.
No, so Abby says all the time that in the disagreement Shelly and I've had, I've said, "Are you ever worried?" And she said, "No, because you always both are very honest and you work it out." If things got out of control, Abby would be the one that got in the middle and beat the shit out of both of us and said, "That's enough." And
So she'd kill you.
I'm just fascinated you guys have these fantasies. I don't know that I have those fantasies about me and Chris.
really?
You got four,
No.
Okay,
you
well,
got 4 dogs. You've got 4 dogs, and you've never thought about killing one of them.
No. Or my husband.
okay. I want
or
to say
anything
that
like
my
that.
song is not a fantasy of killing my wife.
I know what I'm saying, but you guys are just kind of going to this like, okay, so if this reality where I died,
Yes.
what would be
Two-
the
2
reason?
in the
What would be
morning.
the reason I died, and who would have done it?
There are thoughts I have about Gertie. It's like, come on, get off my goddamn hand.
I will say there are times with dogs that I think about giving them away. That I will be like, and then I'm like, you can't do that. You don't want to, but it's just like occasionally there's so much of a handful.
I mean, Gertie, you're so...
The other night, so you guys are talking about Gertie waking you up. I think I was telling Sean before you got here, Lucy, our beagle, has Cushing's disease or something like that, which causes her to. Our other beagle had it too, and eventually she passed away because she loses all muscle control in her lower body. But Lucy gets the sensation that she is dying of thirst, though she's not dehydrated. And so the other night, I am deadly asleep at 3:30, and Shelly reaches over and goes, "Something's wrong with Lucy. She wants you." And I was like, well, great. Thank you so much.
Not me, not you, but you could take care of it. Whatever.
And if I ever claim it as my dog, she's like, "That's my dog." But anyway, so I take Lucy out, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, it's 3:30 in the morning. I don't know why I want dogs. I don't want to do this. I already got up and wiped somebody's ass all the time whenever she was, a baby. I don't need the skin. So I think you have those safe fantasies. I don't want this, but then you also, you're working at home and they're laying on your feet and being the sweetest thing they can be in the whole world, and you're like, okay, it's simply more than it's just a thought with an action put to it, and
Wagging their tail while they dream.
No, it's a dog thing, not a human thing, because I cannot imagine doing the human equivalent of this. But yeah, a dog. When we adopted her, we could have gotten 2 dogs potentially, same litter, so we could have 2 dogs, and they could, like, when it gets fight time, they could fight with each other. That'd be great. But that means when it's nighttime and they're peeing in the bed, there's 2 of them peeing in the bed. Or if there's 2 of them chewing on their feet, there's 2 of them chewing on their feet. 2 of them chewing on your hand, there's 2 of them chewing on your hand.
I've already got Shelly chewing on my feet. I don't need anything else.
So sexy. But yeah,
Nibble
it's
those
like
toes.
I've gone back and forth between. All right, I wanted 2, but no, 1's enough.
That's always the question.
4.
And
I
you
wonder.
got 4.
I just thought of you the other day, and I thought, I wonder how many dogs it is right now.
4 dogs, 1 cat.
4, but the cat's the easy one.
Alexandra. Yeah, he's the easy one.
Alexandra.
Well, I'm sure I know we've talked about this podcast. I've got 4 dogs, and I've got the cat that goes indoor, outdoor.
Hey, you talked about that one time that the one dog that was loose, and you basically jumped off the podcast to go take care of it. Do you still have that dog?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was that? What dog was that?
This was 2 or 3 movies ago, and there was a dog in the front yard, and
was-
Chris was telling you or something. You went and
Wait, was this a dog we were trying to save that one day? Oh, yeah, no, we took that. I think that dog went back. I mean, Chris is the king of like finding dogs in the neighborhood that are off the leash and taking them back to their house, to their owners. No, this is our 4 dogs. That's not one of them.
We've had the most we've ever had is 2 dogs at a time and a cat. I love cats, except that the fucking cats always tear up everything you have with their nails. And
Was it
whatnot.
just an indoor cat, or was it okay? This cat adopted us from staying on our porch.
Alexandra. Yeah.
Alexandra just comes in to drink water and nap with the dogs during the day, and then goes right back outside. Stays
really?
outside at night. Comes in at night when it's rainy or
Do you have a
cold.
doggy door for it?
No,
No.
just goes to the door and
front door.
meows.
Oh, and you let them in. Let it in. Okay.
And
And then he goes to the door and wants to leave. Like he literally comes to the door and needs to come in, meows. We let him in. He naps, or he drinks water. Then he goes to the door, meows. He goes outside.
See you, Dad.
and
It's an amazing relationship. He doesn't get on the furniture, doesn't claw anything, doesn't mark anything, doesn't spit
likes
anything,
the
doesn't
cats.
doesn't
Likes the dogs.
likes the dogs, doesn't mess anywhere. just
And
goes to the door. Comes in.
I come over when they're out of town and we'll feed him, and he'll get a little skittish with me. But when he sees I'm putting the food out, we'll come up for the food so I can pet for just a second, and then go, oh wait, what the fuck's going on? And then
He'll let us pet him. He'll let us pick him up and pet him. It's really weird.
I've got 2 feral cats. One that I took from 2 houses away over here.
Well, followed you from 2 houses away. You didn't really walk her like I'm taking this cat.
Well, I literally picked up at some point and brought him over here, or her over here, and then called her from houses away, and she realizes it's her house now. She sleeps upstairs. We do not have a cat box in this house, so she doesn't piss because I can smell. As far as JJ says, doesn't piss, doesn't shit in the house. She just will come up, eat in the house if she wants to, get treats, go upstairs, sleep up in a bed. We have 2 beds up there for her. Then come back down, go outside when she would go outside. Good kitty.
Good kitty. I think that's about it.
And then we got Gertie.
Who's now
down
chewing-
there
who is
chewing
now
on.
chewing on the
Hey, come on.
Hey, no.
Leave that alone.
Not doing it.
I think that's the end of this.
Yeah, I think I think it
And
is.
I'm going to play out more of our music on the way. This is us covering Prince's Raspberry Beret. This is on that album too. Alibis and
Bye.
Other Lies. You can find it everywhere you want it.
Gertie.
We'll be back next week. Everyone, have a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Let's go. I was working part-time at a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr. McGee. He told me several times that he did like my kind. Said I was a bit too leisurely. Seems that I was busy doing something close to nothing, different than the day before. That's when I saw, I saw she walked into the outdoor. She wore a raspberry beret, the kind you find in a secondhand store. Raspberry beret, and if it was warm, she wouldn't wear much more. Raspberry beret, I think I love her. Feels like she loved to ask me if I plan to do any harm. So I put on the back of my bike, we're riding down by Old Man Johnson's farm. Now overcast days never turn me on, but something about the clouds and her, they mixed. That girl, she wasn't too bright, but I could tell when she kissed me, she knew how to give a kiss. She wore red